Okay, so we have almost all the initial setup. um yep, so let's start with the initial map design. So I will go to the maps folder, maybe create a folder, maybe let's say um, level showcase map. This is just a temporary name that I've been given, right? You can give whatever name you want. But anyway, let's create a new level. I will use maybe time of day and selected. Okay, we don't need any of these stuff, text render, so this thing. So keep the rest of the stuff as it is, or maybe you can remove the player start as well. Rest of the stuffs will be fine. And let's switch the mode to the landscape. So we have this enormous map instantiated, but I don't think right now we need such a huge map. Instead of that, I will use this 7 by 7 type. Let's create a one. Okay, and maybe I'll save this level. Save current as in the level showcase map. What's the naming convention we followed? Okay. Sorry, level showcase map. Okay, then let's maybe orient this to the 0th origin, right? So it will be easier for us to maybe perform later transformations. But yeah, it's just a good practice to have this entire map originated from the 0th location. Okay, so if you go to the RTS game starter kit, there is a folder called material and landscape. So this is the landscape material that we are going to use. So you don't need to spend too much time to create a material. Instead of that, I have added a very simple landscape material. So if you need to improve this thing later on, you can simply do that. But if I open this master landscape, it is quite straightforward. Everything is well documented. So basically, I'm consuming these base color, normal and roughness as parameters for each landscape surface type. And in order to reduce the tiling, I have created this scale parameter with the initial value of 0.2. The default value was 0.2, but you can tweak these values as well. And in the layer blend, here I specify all the necessary blend types, and they are following this weight blend. So all of those blending layers I have assigned a unique name and a blend type as weight blend. So we have grass type and ground, sand, also rock, right? So if you need to, or if you want to have any other resource service types, you can simply copy this entire thing and paste it over here and assign a new blend type in this pin, and you have to connect everything to work properly, right? And you if you need to use this master material and simply manipulate its instances, there is a material instance called master landscape inst. So here you can simply, by clicking this value, you can enable or disable or change the variations, right? So like, let's say if you want to have a higher tiling, you can simply tweak these values, right? But for now I will keep it as 0.2, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so all you have to do is basically paste this master landscape instant onto your map. Yeah, I think it's not been assigned, so maybe I'll manually assign like this. Okay, so the material has been applied, but you can see the entire thing is black because we have not yet painted any materials and the metadata has not been generated yet. So let's go to the landscape mode and maybe paint. So here you can see there is a small plus mark. So this is to create the meta information related to this specific landscape layer. So let's first create that thing, and here I'm going to use weight blended layer so I can easily tweak the values, and make sure to store that thing inside this level showcase map, right? So all the shared assets will be there, and let's simply click OK. Okay, now you can see the entire thing has become the grass material, has become a grass texture, right? But let's say if you wanted to make this sort of area maybe like sand, let's first reduce the size and let's create a sand instance, or maybe I will create a ground instance, right? It's all up to you. It's just level design, and you have to select what is the layer type that you are going to paint, and simply you can paint those values, right, like that. But I think the weight is too much, so maybe you can reduce the tool strength a little bit. I'll make it as 0.05, and let's try to do. Okay, now you can see we are not doing a drastic change. Instead of that, we can smoothly, paint the values, right? So maybe like this area is some sort of dirt area, right? Likewise, you can populate the entire map, or you can design the entire map. But here, like, I'm just focused on the very basic setup. So I will quickly draw some stuffs. Maybe like I will make this entire corner areas as ground, right? So again, I'm not a good level designer. I just wanted to showcase the features, right? Then you can come up with a better design, right? A real level design actually laugh at me because this is extremely primary stuff. But anyway, I'm not good at level design, so that's why I'm doing these sort of stuff. And yeah, maybe let's draw this side as well. And let's say if you wanted to use a different material, surface type, you can use that as well, right? You can interchangeably use this stuff. There is no restriction. So here there is some box placeholders because the metadata was still generated, but after that was generated, the layer info has been generated, everything is pretty much okay. and yeah, and maybe I will use a rocky surface as well, maybe over here, right? um okay, and more ground over here. Okay, I think this will be fine. And yeah, you can see the rock sort of a texture has been applied to this area because of this texture, which is rock texture, right? So I can draw over this texture as well. Okay. And you can actually sculpt your map as well. Maybe let's say if you wanted to make this little bit elevated, you can do like this. Okay, um, okay, like that maybe. Okay, yeah. Right, so this area a little bit elevated, and maybe you can flatten this area like that, so it will be like, you know, much more easy for the player to, you know, place resource building types and stuff like that. Okay, so that's the very basic introduction to level design. Again, I'm not an expert in this specific area, so that's why I simply show you how to use master material to design your landscape. Also the very basic tools that we have inbuilt with the engine to help with the level design, right? So there are a lot of tools actually available in the engine, Unreal Engine, so you can discover those stuffs as well, and maybe in the future tutorials I will showcase those stuff for you. But right now I think this setup will be fine, and uh, actually you can now place those resource types in your map as well. So if you go to the natural resources and maybe tree, so you can easily place those stuff throughout your map. But here you can see, if you are going to place this stuff manually all over the map, it will be very inefficient task, right? Because your map can be really huge. So if you are planning to place everything manually by just drag and dropping the items, I don't think it will be quite practical, right? So in computer games, instead of manually placing this stuff, what we usually have is, we have some editor utilities that we can create to help with us these sort of initial populations of our maps, like spawners, or maybe you know, manipulators or landscape manipulation tools. So in the next tutorial we will look at how we can create such a dynamic spawner. So in that way we don't need to actually manually place this stuff all over our map, right? Basically it will help level designers or developers to quickly and easily create their own map. Okay, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.